Hi, I'm Rajeswari Vidyashankar, and I'm the PYP coordinator for a school in Bangalore, which is called Sharan Narayani International School. Today, as an educationist, and I've been in the IB for the past 10 years, it's the curriculum which we are all fascinated with. It's a curriculum which is most sought in the world now. So in that, we have been coming across every other school and every other curriculum will come across the teaching and learning strategies. But here in IB, mostly we use the making visible thinking strategies. But before that, the reason for choosing this making thinking visible is that, like, when we make the thinking visible for the learners and for the teachers and students, we feel that the learning happens more deeply, and also the learning is visible so that enhancements can be done to the learning. So this concept, making thinking visible, it's a concept associated with I'll just go to the next screen. So this is making thinking visible through visible thinking routines, and this is a concept associated with the work of Ron Richard. So he is the one who started this visible thinking routines to make the thinking visible for the students. He is a researcher and an educationist. He is a senior research associate at Project Zero, which is again a wing of the Harvard Graduate School of Education. So this was formed. This visible thinking routines was formed in the belief that when thinking is made visible, it becomes a powerful tool for learning and development of the students. So I will also share with you why should we make thinking visible in classroom. So the first thing we are going to talk about is metacognition and development, which is nothing but metacognition is nothing but making one think about their own thinking. So in IB, the way every unit is set up is like we help the children reflect on their own thinking process. So when children reflect on their own thinking process, they become more aware of how to approach the problems and formulate solutions for the same. So what they do is they learn to monitor, evaluate, and adjust their thinking strategies. Okay. So the second reason why we have to make thinking visible in classrooms is for enhanced understanding. So what is that? What is enhanced understanding is that when we make children work in groups, when they articulate their thoughts, it deepens their understanding. So when you visualize, when you verbalize your thought process with your peers, what happens is the concepts become very deep in the classrooms. Okay, so that is one of the other main thing why we have visible thinking in the classrooms. The next main reason why should we have visible thinking is that for the communication skills. As early as from the beginning of the childhood, only when children start nursery or kindergarten, we are tapping their communication skills. We help them build the skills from a very tender age. So again, when children learn to express themselves clearly, both verbally and in writing as well, so that's when it helps in the communication skills of the students. This is again one more reason why we should make the thinking visible in the classrooms. So one more thing is the peer learning. One more advantage is the peer learning. So what is peer learning and collaboration? Collaboration and peer learning are the 21st century skills, right? So when at the visible thinking promotes collaborative learning environment in the classrooms. So when students share their thought process, we encourage the group discussions and collaboration amongst the peers. So the classroom becomes a community of learners. So they they not only share their perspectives, but also they listen to others' perspectives, and they learn to navigate and negotiate in the discussions. So that is one more way we encourage peer learning, and that is why we need to make the thinking visible in the classroom. Okay, the next advantage is going to be the teacher-student connection. So when when we make this visible thinking in the classroom, what happens is teachers, when the students work in these groups, they hop on teachers, constantly monitor the students, what they are talking, what contributions they are making in the classrooms, and they gain a valuable insight how the students are thinking. So through this method, what the teachers can do is they can not only gain valuable insights, but also they can assess their students' understanding based on the answers given. And also, when children have diverse needs in the classroom, it helps the teachers to tailor to those needs as well. So there is a better student-teacher connection as well. Okay, so the next important advantage is the critical thinking skills. So students, through the visible thinking routines, what they do is they learn to analyze, they learn to evaluate, and they learn to synthesize the information. And it is very important. See, again, like collaboration, critical thinking skills are also 21st century skills. They are very, very important for the development of a child. So in this critical thinking skills, when a problem is posed in the classroom, students come together, they look at the problem, and they come up with different solutions, and they learn problem solving skills in a group. Okay, so again, we are again connecting back to communication skills. We are again connecting back to collaboration, peer learning. So all these advantages are interrelated to each other. Last but not the least, the assessment and the feedback. So in this, we are seeing that through visible thinking routines, I discussed that it paves way for the teachers to know the students better. So when the teacher knows the students better, what they also keep track of their learning. So in that, teachers give feedback to the students. So not only on what they have written, but also learning is a process. So the teacher is able to understand the whole learning process, what the child is learning, how the child is learning. So they'll be able to facilitate the students better and also give feedback to the students based on these visible thinking, which is followed in the classroom. So quickly, after having seen through these advantages or why we should make the thinking visible in the classroom, I'm going to show you some of the routines which we are following diligently in our school. So to make the thinking visible. Okay, so the first one is the See, Think, Wonder routine. So this routine is a very beautiful routine. So the way we use this in our classroom is such that, like, it not only we use it in our in IB curriculum, especially for those who are there who don't know, who are very new to the IB curriculum. I would like to add that we have English, math, and then we also have something called unit of inquiry, which is a blend of science and social. Okay, so we have 6 units and 6 themes. And for the whole curriculum, we have 6 units and 6 themes, and math and language are integrated into the curriculum. Say, suppose I'll give you an example. In a grade 5 classroom, we have units like social units like migration. We have social units like child rights. We have other units like government systems, wherein we also have science units like matter and materials. We have units like human body systems. Say, if you take human body systems, there is math and language which can be integrated. Math runs as standalone, whereas language is integrated into the unit, where children, whatever they are learning, they express through language, through either descriptive writing, describing about the human body systems, or they express through report writing, like how this COVID, they can write a related article about how what role does a balanced diet play in a child's life. So so these are the text structures which run parallelly in English. But we have unit of inquiry as well. So the unit of inquiry is such that in the IB curriculum, mostly it is like hands-on. So what we do is, say suppose in our grade 2 unit on civilization, to build the curiosity of the student, which is very, very important, which forms the base of the learning of any child. What we do is we put artifacts around each corner. Say it can be from different religion, it can be any artifact. Say suppose old kind of things used, a chisel, or a knife from olden times, or a sieve, something like that. And then we put this thinking routine on the table, and then we ask them to do a see, think, wonder routine, which is nothing but what do you see and what do you think this material is used for, and any questions you have, because questions, students' questions forms the basis of any child's learning. We always promote students to be inquirers, we promote them to be thinkers. Okay, so the example that I'm showing you is for a language class which the teacher has used. How we do in a language class, this is for a novel study session. The novel is called Wonder. So when a student comes for a novel study, so the first base which we follow is building the curiosity before the book is read with the children. So as a prior knowledge, as to provoke the interest of the child, what the teacher does it, they hold the front cover of the book, and also the blurb is given at the back. So this is before reading the book, the teacher shows the front cover of the book, and they ask to do the see, think, wonder routine to make the thinking visible in the classroom. So when such a thinking routine is introduced in the classroom, what the child does it, they will plainly see what is in the front of the book, which they will record in the C column. And the second thing is, what do you think the book is about? So that is where they will form assumptions based on what they see. So this is plainly in the first column C, they will simply write about what I see a boy with no eyes. So he has short hair. Maybe that boy is around 9 years old. So that whatever they plainly see, I can see. So they have I see. So they use the phrase I see. So I can see, or like that. Okay. But in the think column, they go into their own thinking. So again, we are connecting it back to the advantage of metacognition. I'm thinking about one's own thinking, but through a picture. Okay. So I think people treat him differently because I don't see any eyes. So, or there is no nose. He has only one eye. So is it an anomaly? I feel that this child is someone who is special. Okay, so maybe like that. So we make the children think. So that builds the curiosity in the child to know what the book is about. So always, before we start any lesson with the children, we always have to build the curiosity in the child for them to learn effectively. So that's why we make use of this. I'll show the visible thinking routines thing again. So these are all the visible thinking routines. So these are all, if I make it a little big, you'll be able to see. Yeah, so there are so many visible thinking routines, and each thinking routine, the way we form that, there is no hard and fast rule that we have to follow a particular set of questions for this. So depends whether it is on in your language class or your math class or your UI class, you can definitely change the question which goes with this, with the thinking routines. So the way we form the questions for the students makes a lot of difference. As teachers, as facilitators, we should be able to bring out the answers or elicit the answers from the children through the questions which we frame for that particular lesson. So we do this using the visible thinking routines. So when I tell you, give a more example, probably it will be much more clear. Let me go to the second example of Freyr's model. So some things are not a visible thinking routine, but the Freyr's model is not in the set of visible thinking routines, but it actually brings out the thinking visible, makes the thinking visible in the classroom. It's a beautiful tool to use to assess the understanding of the children. I'll tell you why. When a child has learned a book about, say, suppose they have learned non-fiction book about turtle. Okay, so and then you want to assess their understanding. So again, we are talking about the last advantage we saw about assessment and feedback. Okay, so in this, I'm going to go back to the Freyr's model, which I'm connecting it to the advantage. Okay, so when a child does a Freyr's model on the book learned, like turtle here, it is shown turtle here. So they will, after reading the book, when they work on this Freyr's model, again, what they will do is they'll go back and forth in the book. Okay, so and then they'll fill the definition. So what is the classification? What are the characteristics? They can even draw. So there is no right and wrong way of using a Freyr's model. You can modify the Freyr's model according to your lesson, what you want to elicit from the child. It not only is for the UI or the language. See, one more example I've given is through the learner profile. So learner profile for the people of non-IB background, learner profile is a characteristic which we build in the children. We want to develop these characteristics. There are about 10 IB learner profile, which we want to develop in the unit. Okay, so every unit we concentrate on 2 learner profile. Say, suppose my unit is on knowledgeable. What I do is I build a Freyr's model on knowledgeable. So I ask them what do you think knowledgeable is about? And then give me the characteristics of knowledgeable. What are the other synonyms? So can you give me a real life example for a person portraying themselves as knowledgeable? But you might also want to elicit the non-examples. I'll tell you exactly where this non-example plays a very important role. When you learn about math concepts, you exactly want to know what are non-polygons. When you learn about the concept of polygon, you might also want to know what is not a polygon as well. So that's why the Freyr's model can be modified and can be used in any subject of your choice. It can be UI, it can be math, it can be language. But the beauty it does is it elicits the information from the children and it gives you exactly what they have understood, and it helps the teacher to give the feedback to the students. Okay, so next I'm moving on. Yeah, this is again
yes. Sorry to interrupt you, ma'am. I just wanted to remind you about the time. We have only 10 minutes. We have
10 minutes. Yeah, I'll finish. Thank you, Ms. Ravina. Within 10 minutes, I should be able to finish. Okay, so there is one more, this one, the visible thinking routine, which is called word, phrase, sentence. I will just do a slideshow so that it is a little visible. Okay, so in this, if you see, this particularly was used for a unit on child rights. Okay, so what the teacher does is they give a passage, okay, on say suppose a news article is being given to them, okay? News article which talks about one of the child issues, maybe a child labor, okay? So then what the teacher does it, they supplement the children with this thinking routine. So after reading the whole passage, instead of just giving comprehension questions like what is child rights, what is it? So it is like it doesn't promote anything, it is just a recap. But what this visible thinking routine beautifully does on the other way is, what is the word that stands out from the article which you read? Okay, what is the word which stands out? Now, what is the phrase that engaged, provoked, or moved you the most in the article? Okay, it's just a phrase. So the child will also know what the difference between a phrase and a sentence. And also you are then provoking them to write a sentence that is very meaningful, or that you felt that captures the core of the child rights issue in the whole article. So all this, you will not find the same answer from all the children, unlike like our normal curriculum where you just everybody follows the textbooks and does the same piece of work. Here you get different answers because it is all very related to the child themselves. So what has moved the child? It will be one child. What has moved me? It might not be the same for you. So here, that is what this visible thinking routine does, is to not only elicit the information, it tells you like what the child has really felt about the article. So this is one thing, word phrase, very, very powerful thinking routine this is. The next one is connect, extend, challenge. Connect, again, like your here the students watched a video on Iqbal Masi, who was a child laborer, who was a child in Pakistan, who went through a lot of turmoil in his life at a very early age. But then how he came out and he helped the other children come out of the child slavery is the video about. So what do you connect with this video, and how do you respond to the video, and any other questions you have? Through this thinking routine, the children will be able to not only write their understanding, but also take it to the next level of what they think. So here the perspective, if you see under extend, there is something called perspective. That is very, very, very important because it tells you what the child thinks about things. So it is again, you will not find the same answer through this visible thinking routine. Okay, so that is one thing. The next one is, again, one more thinking routine which I want to share with you is the 4 C's. Okay, so which is connect, concept, change, and challenges. Connect is how will you, again, through the article or the video which you want to share with the child, you might want to use this thinking routine. How will you connect the passage to the central idea? So is it even relevant? What I have supplemented you, is it even relevant to the unit which we are doing? So that is the question you want to pose. So how do you see the connection? How you make connections? So always through these thinking routines, we are also helping children to make connections in the mind, constantly connecting. Am I doing the right thing? Again, now connecting back to reflection and metacognition, which is thinking about your own thinking. Okay, so the child always connects the passage. How is it related to what I'm learning? What am I learning about the unit? Is it present in this passage? Okay, so and then what are the concepts that relate? So in IB, we have about 7 key concepts. So we have to relate to that. Okay, and what change you notice? Okay, and the challenges are nothing but any challenges you face, anything you don't understand, or if you have any questions, the children can write here. So here again, if you see all these thinking routines, it will be tailored to the answers will be so different from each student, and it is all about what they think and what their perspective is. Okay, so I'll move on to the next thinking routine, which is nothing but color, symbol, and image. Yeah, so in this, there is a unit on friendship. Okay, so is this like we either supplement with the color for higher grades, probably when we introduce a unit like child labor, probably we'll, for higher grades, we'll 4 and 5, we'll supplement with this color. But for younger grades, it's okay. There is no right or wrong in what they are saying. So we ask them to fill the color, whatever color they like. And then what symbol and what is the image that comes to their mind about the given topic, which is friendship. So when they see, I choose this color, I chose this symbol. So they are also giving justification to what they are doing. So I chose this color because it reminds me about my friends and my drawing. This is the bright side of life. The sun shows the bright side of life. And I always give kindness and love to my friends. And that is what friendship is about. Again, you will have different answers from the children. And one beautiful thing as a teacher, what we can do is we can ask students to exchange answers with each other, which is again beautifully paves way for collaboration with the peers. Now the next one again is perceive, believe, care, which is nothing but we mostly use it for picture prompts. If you want, say, suppose there is a unit on arts, okay, you want children to deeply look into the picture and elicit answers from them. Then what do you perceive? What do you think? What do you believe? And then what do you care? The perceive, know, and believe is the thinking routine. Mostly we use it for picture prompts. And then last but not the least, this is very well known. This is, I would say it is not a visible thinking routine though, but we can definitely put it under that because it is not designed in the Harvard School of Education, but this is a well-known strategy to make the thinking visible, because this, you see, this is like KWL, which is nothing but what I know, just invoking the prior knowledge from the child and what I want to know. It is you constantly encourage them to write questions on the topic of discussion. Okay, so first is what you know about the dinosaurs. If your topic is on dinosaurs, you tell them what you know about it. What is your prior knowledge? You know about, what do you know about the dinosaurs? So we ask them to fill it in the first column, which is the K, which stands for what I know. And then the next one is what I want to know, which is like, what do you want to find out about the dinosaurs? Again, which is be very different from all the, every student will have different set of questions. It is not going to be the same. Again, you can have collaboration in this. You can have group work. You can divide them into groups and you can ask them to think and come up with questions where each group will have different questions. And after finally learning about after finally learning about the topic on dinosaurs, what is that I have learned? So they quickly jot it down as well. So as a means of reflection. So this, I think I have come to the end of the session here. So I hope this visible thinking routines, which I exchange my knowledge with you today through the examples which I've done in our classrooms, I hope will benefit for you and in your education as well, as an educationist as well. Thank you, Ms. Pravina, for a wonderful opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. Can you please stop sharing the screen so that audience can have a better view of you?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So there are a couple of questions here and most of them are covered by you. I will read out those questions to you, ma'am. The first question is, which specific thinking routines have seen the most success in your classroom or practice?
Okay, so it is again, I said, no, it depends on the lesson to lesson, it varies. I can say the most liked One is the see, think, wonder routine, because you just build the curiosity of the students with the artifacts or with the objects in place, where the children come and see, they touch, they feel, and then they discuss, and then they discuss and write whatever they think. There is no right or wrong. Again, we encourage, keep telling them there is no right or wrong, because then only the student will come out of their shell and they will contribute a lot in the classroom. So I would personally say, and also color, symbol, and image also is one of very effective thinking routines, because every primary child, if you see, we are all they are all hooked on to colors. Is something which attracts them. So when you give them the freedom of choosing a color, you choose your own symbol. So the choice is something we all like as human beings. So the CSI is also one of the most effective thinking routines which I've seen work in the class.
Okay, ma'am. So how do you adapt the routines to cater to different age groups or learning styles?
Yeah. So mostly if you see the see, think, wonder, the CSI and all that, which has actually speaking, we can through the guiding questions, we can actually do the thinking routines for all the classes. It is not a problem. Again, that is where the expertise of the facilitator comes into play. And also the guiding questions are very, very important in the way you are framing the questions with the right words, right vocabulary used for that particular age audience is very, very important. The facilitator plays a very, very important role in getting this visible thinking routines into the classroom to the children. So that one, and then as I told you before, the basic routines like see, think, wonder, or the CSI, which involves a little bit of uh, the children are hooked on to the colors and the artifacts and the things we keep on the table for them, so they can touch, they feel. So that might be attractive for the lower grade children. For the higher grade children, because we supplement them with the article and YouTube videos and all that. So the connect, extend, challenge, the generate, sort, the 4 key concepts, they are all we can give it for the we can tailor it for the higher grade, like upper elementary, we call them. It is for 4th and 5th grades, we can tailor that for.
So how do you assess the impact of visible thinking routines on students' learning and development, ma'am?
Yes. So in IB, it is like always we have to remember that in primary schools, the assessment is always for learning more than of learning. So, and assessment is ongoing in all our primary classes. So what happens is as I told you, the advantage before about the collaboration and teacher giving feedback, we are not assessing on the output alone, we are assessing the whole process itself. And while the students are writing, while the answers are discussed, while the problems are posed and students coming out and to answer in groups, they exchange information with each other. The facilitators, as facilitators, we only stand and we look for the answers, we listen to their answers, and then we can modify, we can ask them whether do they want to consider other perspectives as well. So through the teacher plays the role of a facilitator or guide more than making assertive statements there, saying no, what I say is right, or only this is right, or that is right. No. So what we do is we listen to the students answers, and we always assess them for learning, which means we give feedback so that the children can improve their learning. So it is not off learning. So it is not considered for summative or formative assessments. In primary classes, mainly, it is for the improvement in the thinking and development of the children.
So what are some common challenges teachers face when incorporating these routines into their practice, ma'am?
Obviously the lesson has to be planned in such a way. So the planning is a very crucial element in any classroom, and our classrooms are very dynamic, and the time also plays a very important role. But I feel that if everything is planned well, and again, we are also going on the basis that there is no right or wrong answers. It is not there is no penalty for any answers given. It's always for students to be encouraged the students thinking. That is more important. That is the vital element in any PYP classroom, is to encourage children to speak more, come up with more thinking. So voice out your thinking. So the challenges which I feel is that only based on the time, and probably sometimes the classes won't happen as planned. Other than that, if we stick by the rule that there is no right or wrong answers, I think that it is fine. There are not any prominent challenges, I would say.
Okay. So what advice would you give to educators who are interested in starting to use visible thinking routines?
Please, at least like in UI classes, we can integrate this very seamlessly. But start using in language and math classes as well. I feel that all the educators should visit the Project Zero website, which has all the visible thinking routines. And the beauty is that they have given you the template also, and they have given you the guiding questions also, and also sometimes they have supplemented with examples. And Google again is a big place where you can find multiple examples also of using. So if you just type in saying that I want to use this visible thinking, say CSI for a novel, so any particular example is given, like for Charlotte's Web novel or Wonder novel. If you just type, so many examples are poured in every day in Google website. So, and also please visit the Project Zero website. It is like I would say it's a boon for all the educators to have a website like that, and so many visible thinking routines are listed there, and you can have the benefit of using it in your classroom.
Thank you, ma'am, for answering all the questions. We end the question answer round now. School Journal of Education and schoolreformer.com. Thank you for the talk and for patiently answering all the questions. Some of the questions were repetitive, but still you answered them elaboratively. We also thank the audience for participating in the event. I hope you enjoyed the session too. So thanks once again, ma'am. We end the meeting now. Do you want to mention anything else?
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Ms. Praveena. I really enjoyed sharing the best practices which are followed at my school, and I hope this session was useful to many educators out there. Thank you, Ms. Praveena, personally for this opportunity. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.